Hi everyone, welcome to my presentation using Power Apps to view the Azure Back to School RSS feed. I'm Keith Atherton. I'm a software developer and Microsoft MVP with over 20 years experience, and I'm based in Edinburgh in Scotland. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or Twitter. Azure Back to School is a fantastic event, so I'd like to thank Dwayne Natwick and Derek Smith for organising it. Please check out the other awesome sessions using the links shown on the screen. Okay, so what we'll look at today is the Power Platform and specifically Power Apps. So first up, what's the difference between the two? What are they? So this is the main marketing page for Power Platform, and what it really is, I see the Power Platform as an umbrella term. It's almost like Azure is an umbrella for all the services that you have within it. Power Platform's the same. Now the main services that they do have is Power BI. We can see the screenshot there. We've got things like reports and dashboards. Power Apps, which we'll use today. This is where you can develop an internal web app. Power Pages, this is more for a public website, but you can hold account information, and there's a really good designer to help build up websites. Power Automate, so you can automate different processes, either using schedules or triggers or just instantly with button clicks. And Power Virtual Agents, this is for chatbots. But again, what we'll look at today is Power Apps. Now what we'll look at today is the Azure Back to School RSS feed. So if we go to the Azure Back to School website, we can see this. We can see there are several posts. We've got links to the website, Twitter and GitHub and so on. Now if we scroll to the end, we can see there's a feed right here. So if we open this up in a new tab, let's zoom in a bit there. We can see some of the items in the feed. So if we scroll down, we can make out things like titles right here. So there's the session schedule. We can see when it was published. We can see when it was updated and a lot more information. Now what we'll do is we'll actually use Power Apps to actually display this information from the feed, and just to show how easy it is and how quick to build an app. So let's go over to Power Apps. This is the address make.powerapps.com. Now again, might feel a bit cheeky doing a Power Platform talk because this is Azure Back to School, but the Power Platform, as with some other services by Microsoft, is actually built on top of Azure services. So I can kind of get away with it. You know, if you don't tell Dwayne and Derek, I won't either. So, let's crack on and see what we can do. So what we'll do is we're going to create a new Power App. We'll do Create. Now we do have a few options. Again, I won't go through everything in Power Apps here, but we can see we can actually build an app completely blank. We can plug into an existing data source, such as Dataverse, which is the data platform provided for the Power Platform. We've got things like SharePoint, Excel, and SQL as well. What we'll do today is a blank app. We'll choose Blank Canvas App. We'll give this a name. And we do have a couple of formats here. We can use tablet or phone. In this case, I'll do tablet so it fits this screen well. Great. So now we've got our new Power App. For those who are new to Power Apps, we've got this main pane in the middle here. This is the app canvas itself that we'll build up the app with. On the left hand side we have a tree view and some other options available as well. So things like the screen, any components and controls that we add to the screen we'll see here. And what we have selected here on the right hand side we'll have the properties for. So again, we have the screen selected right now, so we can see a few options here, a few properties like fill, background image and image position. So what we'll do with this, we need a kind of a grid layout, just something to list those RSS feed items. So what we'll do with this is go to Insert. Now I know the control that I will need is called a vertical gallery. Now when it adds this, we've got some a dummy collection right here, but what we'll do in a moment is connect to the RSS feed. But for now we'll just close this. We do have different layouts. We can see we've got one right here with an image, title and subtitle. What I'll do is I'll actually just change that to blank. We'll actually author one from scratch in a moment. I'll make this fill the screen. And what's going to happen is when we connect a data source to this, it will actually just repeat records. So if I click up here, I can actually set what the template size will be, what the height will be of each cell that gets repeated. I'll go ahead and select that, remove that lovely formula to something a bit more hard-coded. We can see there's a bit of padding around the outside as well. We can just leave that as it is. What we need to do next is connect to the RSS feed. So if I expand this menu right here, we can see we have data as an option. So let's choose that. We'll add data and I'll choose RSS. Now this is going to use a connector for RSS and we're going to point it to the address in a moment. So we'll select that. Let's minimize that. Great. So now it's ready to use in the app. If I go right here, we're going to select this gallery. And again, it's quite keen on trying to give us a data source right here. I'll actually go to data source and view this up in the formula bar right here with this FX. So again, we had some dummy data to start with. And we can see that lorem ipsum right there. But what we actually want to do is call the RSS feed, list the feed items. Now we're going to use the URL for the feed, which is in this other tab right here. And close that, and we can actually see it's bringing back the RSS feed information right here. Easy peasy. So let's minimize this, and what I'll do next is add a text label right here so we can actually show some of the information in this gallery. So if I select the cell, go to insert a text label. Let's make this a bit longer right there. I'm going to set the text property for this new label. Now when we do this item, this is an identifier to say this item in the data collection. So basically this is pointing to the record. So what I'm going to do is change this. Let's see what properties we have available. We've got things like copyright, ID, so on and so on. I'll go ahead and choose title. And now we can see we've actually got the RSS feed titles showing in this gallery right here. Now the next thing that I want to do is really be able to click on this excuse me, and then go to the page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the cell right here. I'm going to insert a button, and when we click on the button we want it to take us to the page for that item. So let's see, I'll get rid of the border radius, make it a bit squarer. Let's see, I'll change the text. Let's just say go. We want to go to the page. Now when I select on the button, we can go to advanced properties, and then we can get things like actions. So in this case, on select is when we click on the button. So I'm going to go ahead and click on select. Now what I want this to do is actually go to that URL. So what I'm going to do is use the launch function. Now the address is actually going to be from the item, and it's going to be primary link. So let's save our changes, and to preview the app we can click on the play button right here. So we can see, again, we can see all of the items listed there, and if we go to the right hand side and click on go, let's get rid of that horrible zoom. There we go. So we can see the page a bit better now. we can actually see the session schedule for 2023 is shown. Let's go back here again. Let's go to Speakers 2022 and click on Go there. And we can see it's navigated to the other page. And we can see all of the plenty of awesome speakers that were involved in that year's event. Okay, that's pretty much it. Pretty straightforward. You just need to add a couple of controls. You can connect to RSS very easily. This was kind of, short and sweet, just to show how quick and easy and intuitive Power Apps are to use. So with that in mind, if it's something you want to have a play with yourself, you can go ahead and have a free trial with Power Apps. With some of the Microsoft 365 licenses, you do get Power Apps included with them, so you may be able to use some of the features already. But if not, you do have a free trial, 30-day free trial, and that's the same for other parts of the Power Platform as well. Some of the other services that I mentioned at the start do have free trials for you to have a go. Now, if you do want to keep using Power Apps after 30 days, there's another option available as well. It's called the Power Apps Developer Plan. Now, there's no time limit with this, which is great. What you do is you just need to sign up. You get access to Dataverse, which is that data platform provided by the Power Platform that I mentioned earlier on. You get access to Power Apps, Power Automate as well. It's a really good service to use for development and testing. It's not intended for production use. This is just a place where you can experiment and learn more about Power Apps. So I'd highly recommend looking into that if this has piqued your interest. So we've reached the end of the session. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And again, if you've got any questions at all, I'm always happy to help. Just feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or Twitter. So with that, thank you again for your time. Bye for now.